Hi, I'm Grady Collane in the CapeCod.com News Center. The Davenport Companies has been named the winning bidder of a request for proposals to build new year-round housing apartment units in West Harwich. They say that they're going to be preserving one of the community's most historic structures, a local church in that area, according to the Davenport Companies Vice President, Chief of Staff, Jamie Veara. We're here today with Jamie to talk a little bit more about what is in store for that location. Jamie, thanks for joining us today. For those who aren't familiar, can you tell us a little bit more about the project proposal and what people can expect?
We have looked at and are under agreement to acquire the West Harwich First Baptist Church with the intention of repurposing the building from the use of a church to use of 10 to 13 what we refer to as workforce housing units for residential purposes, year-round rentals.
All right, awesome. Now, would these be, would they be limited, like deed restricted or anything, or is this going to be something that's a little bit more free and open depending on just the market rates?
It will be market rates, and what we are excited about is, look, they're not, 3,000 square foot. They're somewhere between 700 to 800 square foot apartments, which we think makes them affordable by size. So we're not deed restricted. Where there's no subsidies involved with this. They are market rate, but given the size of the structure, we think the market will make them what I consider to be affordable and attractive.
Do you think this helps kind of address that? It's an election season. We've had a lot of candidates mention this already, but like that missing middle, quote unquote, where it's like they don't make little enough to qualify for a lot more of the affordable housing, capital A affordable housing, but also they're not well off enough to be able to easily afford housing. So do you think this kind of helps that missing middle portion?
Yeah, I think this is exactly what it's targeted for, where somebody who's just starting out, who wants to get a job working in either the municipality or a fire department or a school teacher or a local restaurant, needs a foothold here on the Cape. They make more than what may qualify for a subsidy, but less than buying a house with the median price of housing being what it is. We think this helps fill a really important need.
All right, awesome. Can you talk a little bit more about Davenport Companies, kind of like maybe desires or intentions when it comes to like trying to fill in this housing market section that we're missing? Is this going to be part of an ongoing initiative, or was it just it felt right for this one specific project? What was some of the reasoning for wanting to dive in?
Well, currently we have over 600 units available for year-round rentals here on the Cape, predominantly in the Mid-Cape, Yarmouth, Dennis, Harwich area. We are actively pursuing other year-round rental construction here in Yarmouth. And this was just a project that not only fills a housing need, but we were really intrigued because of the concept of repurposing the church and then tying it into preserving the exterior features of the church, given that it's in somewhat of a tired state.
So do you mind kind of giving us a rough timeline of like when we can expect maybe some more work on this, or when you're hoping to get them out for people to live in?
Well, presently we've got to go through the municipal permitting process. So we've got to get some approvals for our site plan, the repurposing for use as housing, and that's going to take us probably 6 to 8 months on a conservative timetable, and that's through nobody's fault. It's a process. And then following that, the time of construction is going to be a little hard for me to tell you because it is kind of a unique, we're not building up from the ground of a 2 or 3, bedroom home, but repurposing that building is going to have some challenges, and it's going to probably take a little longer, and I couldn't give you an estimate right now.
All right, yeah. So as well, it's highlighted that it's going to be preserving some historic structure. Can you talk a little bit more about what specifically is going to be, or at least ideally be preserved, and kind of like what is already there for our listeners not familiar with the area?
Yeah, so what you have presently is you have a Greek Revival style structure built in the 1800s with the clock tower, church spire, stained glass windows, etc. And all of that we intend to preserve in terms of the exterior features of what a church would look like back in the day, from an operating clock, the church spire, the stained glass windows, all of the Greek Revival appointments, And so when we're done with the project, we will agree to lay what I'll call an exterior historical preservation restriction so that we can keep it looking like that, for as long as possible.
All right, yeah, very interesting to be able to kind of. I can only imagine living in an area that kind of has that maintained facade from a previous era. All right, well, thank you so much. Is there anything else you want to highlight for listeners about maybe some other challenges or things you're looking forward to with this property, or some other stuff that ways the town of Harwich is going to benefit from this?
Well, we think the real benefit, besides the workforce housing and the preservation, is this is kind of a linchpin for efforts that have been pursued to date to reshape and revitalize that West Harwich area. That Captain's Row Village has a lot of history, and we're hoping to bring that back. There's a few other projects from some other developers that are undergoing work right now. So we're kind of excited to be a part of bringing back a part of West Harwich that could use some revitalization.